Hello and welcome to Ivycreates. You can see I've got a sign here that I gotten from the Dollar Tree. It says this is my happy place. Well, I pried the happy off of it and I'm going to paint over it to do a different kind of door hanger or wall decor, whatever you want to call it. And so the first thing I'm doing is putting some Dixie Belle down as a base coat, and this is Dixie Belle is Daisy is what it's called, and I'm putting that down just as a base coat so I can get an even coat all over my sign. And then I'm going to go back with the matte chalk finish of Country Meadow from Chalk Country Finishes, and I'm going to put that over the top of the yellow. I just basically changed my mind and decided I wanted to go with green instead of yellow. You could omit the base yellow coat and just do the green, but you know, whatever you choose, it's your project, you do it your way. And so I just really love the shape of this sign, so that is why I chose this one to do. And I went online and found a nice printout of a bee that I wanted to use, because I wanted to use the happy. It was a metal piece that was on this sign that I pried off, and it has like cushion on the back and stuff, so it's a little raised, and I wanted to use the happy and use a bee, and so it would be happy, you know. And so here I'm just putting my base coats on and making it look all nice and pretty, and then drying it good with my heat gun and making sure I've gotten all the edges. Now you can see I also tried to put my favorite quote on the back of it, bloom where you are planted. I tried that and I didn't like the way it looked on a different occasion, so I'm going to use this other side as our main side. So what I did was I went and picked out a couple of napkins, and I was going to do different things, different ways to do the bumblebee. I also had some corrugated tin, I guess you would call it that I got from the Dollar Tree. It was this tin banner that was really fabulous. I've used it for all kinds of stuff, and so that's what I cut my bee's body out of. I'll show you that in a second as soon as I finish doing the little edges here on my sign. How are y'all doing today? This is Deanna Carroll with Ivycreates. Welcome. We're doing two DIYs today, two different ones. One's for Mardi Gras and one is just for spring, because I like it. So here is my printout of my bee, and I'm just kind of going over a little bit and checking it out, and you can see that I kind of got, what I did was put it on top of the corrugated tin, and then and this is the back side, and then I just drew with my Sharpie the body, and I kind of traced it around the areas that I had cut out so I could get about the right shape and size. So I drew that onto the tin, and then I just cut it out with some scissors, and no worries, I've got like 20 pairs of these scissors, so I know people will think I ruined them, but it's such a thin little thing, and it's really actually quite nice to use, because you can cut it so easily with scissors. Just do be careful, because it is sharp and you may end up, you know, cutting yourself or something, so do be careful with it. What I do with that is oh, and please subscribe and click that notification bell and share the love and spread the love with your friends. So I got most of the tin off, and then I went back and did the little details of the shape of the bee's body. And I like the corrugated because it gave it more texture to the bee's body, and you know how they have the stripes on their backs and stuff, and the corrugated already had that on there, so I thought it was just really cool. So I'm just shaping it and get it all to get it right the way that I want it. And on the head part of the bee, I did kind of flatten it a little bit just with my thumb, so it wasn't quite as corrugated as the rest of the body of the bee. I just flattened it with my thumb a little bit. So you can kind of get an idea of where we're going with this. I'm just doing a little extra trimming to make sure I've got it right. I'm going to put the happy on the bottom and put the bee on top. And I've got to figure out, at this point I was trying to decide how I wanted to do my wings. The thing that I love about this printout is the wings almost look like stained glass. And I just thought that was super pretty. So what I did was cut around the shape of the wing a little bit more so I could trace it onto my napkin. And that way it'd be easy to cut out. So you can see what I did was I grabbed a couple pieces of napkin, traced my wings out, just held the wing down over the top, and I did it over the magnolia flower on that napkin. And of course I separated all of the napkin pieces because they're usually a couple layers, and I got down to one layer. Then I Mod Podged it onto my sign, and so that's why it came out this way. It's a beautiful, they're pieces of magnolias, and it just came out really, really pretty. And what I wanted it to look like. So now I've got to deal with the bee's body. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so tongue-tied today. So I'm using my little paint pot with my Americana paints, and I have in that the black, and I have it mixed with a little folk art royal gold. And it was really thin, so I did do several layers of the black paint on it to get it to look how I wanted it to look. I also did it on the happy as just like a base coat to be able to do my other colors that I planned on doing. I usually, y'all, I have an idea of what I want to make when I'm making it, but it doesn't mean that those plans are set in stone. It usually changes during the process of making and creating. It changes a little bit here and there the whole time. So I might decide one color for something and then go back and change my mind and do a different color of something. I really, really adored the way this one came out. It made me very happy. So you can see I'm putting layers of black on the bee's body, and then this is the sign again. I'm using my folk art royal gold, metallic royal gold, with a kind of dry brush, and I'm just going around the edges of my wings on my bee and kind of using my finger to smear it out a little bit and spread it. I wasn't doing it real thick or heavy, just wanted to spread it out to give it the gold glow around the wings. Now, I didn't think about it, but I probably should have added some gold to the legs too to make it look like they had pollen. Didn't even think about that. So this is the yellow daisy Dixie Belle paint, and I'm just doing the stripes on the back of my bee. And you can see I kind of messed up a little bit, but I wiped it off with my finger and then I fixed it up. Now I'm going to go paint over the happy because it just seemed like it needed a bright color. So I'm painting that with my Daisy Dixie Belle color and making that nice and bright and then drying it off. Gun you don't have to have, it's not necessary, it's just a big help. You could probably use a blow dryer for this project. I just happen to like my heat gun because I like my paint to dry super fast. It is probably one of the best inventions ever in my opinion as far as getting paint dry, because I have no patience for anything. So now I'm taking my gold, my royal gold that I had, and I'm putting that also on my happy sign. And this will be raised a little bit off of the plaque, you can see. So I'm just going to give that a good dry so I can put it back on there and not get the paint messed up. So you can see now it's getting there. We're getting there, on to our next levels. So I'm going to glue my bee body down on top of my wings. And then I'm going to put glue and glue down the happy. And like I said, there's cushioning on the back of this from where I pried it off, so it is going to be raised, and that's what I wanted anyway, so it's all good. Just pressing it down, making sure the glue is good and adhered to my board. So I took, this is a, what are they called? Garland tie, I believe is what they called them. Most awesome thing ever. And I just folded it in half and twisted it, and then put it below the happy, just to add a little extra greenery. It's starting to come together now. A few more things to do. I'm going to highlight my happy, and I'm just putting white down one side of the letters so that it makes it look more highlighted and stand out further. You could do these in any color. You could do it in black and white if you wanted to. You could do it in different types of colors. I just happen to be partial to yellow and green, so I wanted to have a yellow and green motif with this, and just putting the bright white on it. And now I'm just going to add tiny little touches for highlights on the bee's body. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to make a bow for my board or surface or whatever you want to call it, and I'm checking for size to make sure I got the bee size down. First thing I want to do though is do his legs, because I hadn't done his legs yet, so I wanted to start and get that kind of lightly sketched out with my black paint. And the black paint does have a little bit of, I mean, it's the black tie Americana, and I do put a bit of folk art royal gold into it. I put royal gold in just about anything, so it gives it that extra little sheen. So it is thinner, and I do go back several times and add more coats just to make sure I've got it thick enough and bright enough on my board. I hope y'all are enjoying this today. I really do thank you for watching, and I really do appreciate you. It means a ton to me. Leave a comment below if you really like this. I gotta say, I have a thing for bees. I love bees, and you know, let me know what you think about it, or if you think it would be better in a different color, or how you might try to do this at home. And also, if you do this, send me a picture. Let me know. I'd love to see it. Alright, so you can see the legs are on there now, and now I added the jute twine at the top. This originally came with a jute twine hanger, but I'd cut it off so I could paint it well, and so now I'm just cutting the excess off after I added it back on. And now it's time to make our bow for the bottom. And I'm just layering a sheer ribbon, and I'm doing a loop first, and then I'm going to do 2 little loops for the bow, and that's all there is to it. And I'm going to cut that off and add some tails, and then I'm going to take my sheer orange ribbon that I had and tuck it through the loop and around the bottom and tie it in a knot for our bow, and that's how it's held together. So now that it's good and tied, really tight, I can just yank on it as much as I want to. And also I'm going to glue it to the bottom. And so I'm going to move it around how I want it to sit. It's a simple bow, but it's cute. Bright, colorful. So now I'm just tacking down the side loops because I preferred them to look a certain way, so I'm just using the glue to get them to stay that way. I really did love how this one came out. It is absolutely adorable. So the last thing that I'm going to do for this is I wanted to add a little bit more black to the legs. And then I'm going to go back around the edges with the gold, the royal gold, and just it makes everything look lovely. And I did end up going around the wings themselves. You'll see in a minute, I just kind of went real lightly with some black around the wings, wing tips, the edges, so they were a little bit more defined. So right now I'm doing the gold on the edge of the frame, or board, or hanger, or whatever you want to call it. I hope y'all are enjoying. When I was in college, I remember I drove this really big, long station wagon, and it was super, super hot outside, and I left all the windows down, and, you know, the back window in the far back, because it was a 72 Buick sport wagon, so it was huge. And I left the windows down the back, and I came back to my car between classes, and an entire swarm of bees had moved into my car. Scared the daylights out of me. I don't know what they were attracted to, but the queen, everybody was there, and I was like, oh no, and I couldn't drive the car or anything, so I went and I tried to find a maintenance man. I'm like, help, I'm full of bees in the car. They didn't hurt me or anything, and I now know that they were just probably moving to a new nest, or you know, the new queen was moving. But anyway, so I went and found a maintenance man. By the time I got back, they were gone. Had no idea what happened to them. It was the strangest event ever. But I love my bees. I really do. Have a history with them. So now I'm just very, very lightly lining the edge of the bee's wings with the black. It's just to make them stand out more, and the napkins, they're really, really pretty on this as a wing. Thank you so much for watching this, and we're going to go on now to our Mardi Gras wreath. If you're not familiar with Mardi Gras, I'm going to show you just a little bit about it. This is the final product pictures for our Be Happy. I hope you enjoyed that one. It was super easy to make, and a lot of fun, and all Dollar Tree products too. So I'm starting out with making a bow for a wreath. And what I did was I went to my girlfriend's house, and I was like, you know, she goes through all of her stuff, and I'm like, I'm taking this old wreath because it looks really bad and I need to redo it. So that's what I was doing. It was a super plain Jane thing you'll see in just a minute. But so I'm making the bow for that wreath. So Mardi Gras is a holiday celebrated here in South Mississippi, and it's along the coastal areas. It goes through southern and Acadiana, Louisiana, and it goes through New Orleans, and I'm about 45 minutes from New Orleans, and it goes all along to Mobile and Pensacola, along the Gulf Coast. And so anyways, it's the holidays colors are purple, green, and gold, which are very obnoxious, and everything about Mardi Gras decoration is very obnoxious. So, you know, you just kind of get used to it, but it's a fun party. It's parades, it's balls and dress up, and you get to wear evening gowns and masks, and you see kings and queens, and they have a whole court proceeding. So there's a lot more than just the parade that you see. There's a lot more to it, and it lasts for months. Unfortunately, this year, because of the COVID stuff, all of our Mardi Gras has been canceled, and it's a shame because it's our big celebration, and it ends, or everything kind of ends on Fat Tuesday, which is the day before Ash Wednesday. If you're Catholic, you know what that means. So you give up things for Lent in the Catholic religion, and so everybody is just like, I don't even know how to say it. They do everything they want to do before Fat Tuesday, before Ash Wednesday, and so they act crazy and all that good stuff, and then come Ash Wednesday, they got to be like angels again, and they got to go to church, and they got to get their ashes and all that good stuff. So it's a lot of celebration. It's a lot of fun. So this is the poor, pathetic looking wreath that I gotten from my girlfriend's house. It is put on just a regular old wire wreath frame, and you can see it was just wrapped with mesh, and then they put mesh on top of that, and it's green in the back, and then gold, and then purple. So I'm adding my green bow to the wreath. And like I said, the beads and the mask that people wear and everything, there's a lot of purple, green, and gold, and it's very gaudy. The whole holiday is just known for being very over the top. So, as are all of our decorations. They're all over the top. So now I've added the green bow, and it needed more of an anchor to it because it's just, it's all wire mesh and everything. So the green kind of helped it a little bit. So next thing I'm going to do is I collect masks, of course. In fact, my sister has a couple of my masks hanging in her bathroom that are like these Italian masks that are really big and pretty. But come Halloween and, when they have masks there on Halloween for Day of the Dead stuff, like these two here, I collect those, and also during Mardi Gras, because anytime you can find those, you collect them. And because I know I'm going to use them for something. So I'm going to put them on this wreath to kind of give it, a little bit extra. So you can see I'm starting to do this, and what I've done is these masks, most of them tie. They're not elastic. The ones that are elastic, I go ahead and add a pipe cleaner to each side so that I can get it on the wreath, and it doesn't have to be super tight. The ones that have ties, I just tie them in the back in a bow because I am going to use these masks for other things after I get done using them for the wreath. So the major thing when you're doing any kind of a wreath is you want to have a couple of things in bunches. You don't want everything evenly spaced because that looks it's just not good. It's not as pleasing as it is if you have everything kind of a little off spaced. And of course, remember to use odd numbers when you can. So I end up using 5 masks, I believe, on this one. I had many, many more, but the colors just seemed to go well just for these 5 that I had. So you can see I'm just adding a chenille stem or pipe cleaner, and I'm pulling it around the back, and then I'm pulling it to the other side and just rolling it tight so that it'll stay in place. We are going to miss our parades. You get beads. They throw out tons and tons of beads and cups. You never know what kind of things are going to happen. There's also in Metairie, Louisiana, there's an Irish-Italian parade that I rode in, and that one's really super awesome. That's usually after the Mardi Gras holiday. That's around St. Patrick's Day, of course. And they throw food. They actually throw vegetables. And I remember we got piles and piles of bags of potatoes and onions and cabbages and all those kind of things. There's actually a law that says you have to throw your cabbage underhanded. You can't throw it overhanded. And we would have bags of goodies, and people take all that food home and they make a stew or something, and that's for good luck. The cabbage is, I believe, to represent the money. So parades are a lot of fun down here. We do enjoy them, and they're a big deal for us. Now this is our finished looking little wreath, just adding things to it. And I put the crown on top inside the bow. and this is again our Be Happy. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate. Please subscribe, click that notification bell, tell your friends, and all that good stuff. This is Tank, Lucy, and Lefty. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Hi, did you click that subscribe button and the notification bell? Well, if you don't hit that notification bell, you will miss out on our Thursday videos. So please go ahead, click it, and you'll be able to watch our videos that are coming up.